Hi guys, it's Septemberss here and welcome to another episode of my FIFA 2019 career mode series with Aston Villa. And this episode is the end of the transfer window moving into February. So as you can see here, we're just nailing down a couple of the rejections for players that we've had offers on. So James Chester and James Bree, we don't want to sell those guys in this window. Having a look at a couple of players that potentially we may sign in this window as well, in order to shore up the midfield and the defence. So the first player that we're looking at here is Septemberss from Genk. He's a central defensive midfielder, and I hear that he has a massive amount of potential, but also he's a very solid player straight out of the box. So as you can see, the club have come back with a transfer sum of 13.7 million with a sell-on clause of 10%. It's a bit more than that I really want to pay, so I offered them 11.5 million to try to close the deal, and they've accepted that offer. Moving on to Berge's actual contract, and he wants a crucial role within the team, a 4-year contract length and no release clause. I'm unsure of what to offer him in terms of wages, purely because I haven't been able to do any scouting at this point. I'm just doing this blind. So I offered him £20,000 of wage and £100,000 signing bonus, which seems quite expensive for quite a young player, but he does have very good stats, so I'm happy to pay that kind of money for him. Next up on the list is a Chelsea defender here, Ethan Ampadu. Got 66 overall, but has a huge amount of potential to grow. So again, I want to add him to the ranks, to the players that we've already got there in centre back, to try to stiffen things up and try to improve over the course of the rest of this season. Chelsea have come back with a transfer sum of 1.25 million for the youngster, and I'm just really going to try to close on something a bit lower than that. So I've offered them £1 million, and let's see where we go from there. They've chucked on an extra 50 grand, so I'm quite happy to close on £1,050,000. That's quite happy with that. As you can see, he's accepted a sporadic squad role, 3-year contract, and a wage of £5,800 with a £50,000 signing bonus. I'm just going to try and negotiate that down slightly, down to £5,500. Hopefully he'll accept that. Look at those fantastic locks. He's going to look great on the pitch, isn't he? The young Welsh international. And yeah, we've signed the deal. 5,800. Quite happy with that. It's quite low, and hopefully will help to improve the overall squad. As you can see, we've just achieved one of our objectives, which is to sign a team player in midfield or striker position to a critical role, which was Septemberss. So yeah, quite happy with that one. Right, okay, rolling on into the transfer window as we close it out. We've had an offer here from PSV for John McGinn, £8 million. Not really going to let him go for that kind of money. If the offer was more reasonable, as you can see, I've requested £14 million here with a 2% sell-on clause. If we were to get that kind of figure, then I might think about it, but we haven't. So I'm going to reject that offer. They only wanted to pay £8 million for him, and there's no way I'm letting him go for that kind of money. I think he's actually going to become a pivotal player within the squad itself over the course of this season. He's really starting to show much more potential. The only problem that I have with him is that he is heavily left-footed. He does struggle when using his weak foot. Okay, some interest shown in Wan-Bissaka there. The reason that that's come up is because I have him on my transfer hub watch list. And then we've got an offer in for Jonathan Kodjia from Fulham for 5.3 million. I'm just going to reject that because I think at this stage we still need those type of players. I know we're trying to move around the formation, and he may not quite fit into the overall formation that we're heading towards, but I do think he's still going to be a key player in the rest of our ambitions this season. So there we go, we've closed out the transfer window, and just to give you an idea of who we've signed, if you remember rightly, we got Wagnerman and Pugh at the start of this season. Those two youngsters obviously adding to the squad, along with Reece Nelson out on the right wing. We've signed a key player in my opinion, Timothy Weah, striker, that's going to be fantastic for the future. Septemberss, who's a central defensive midfielder, should add some stiffness to the team and allow us to play that 4-3-3 formation we're heading towards. And then we've also got Ethan Mpardu has joined as a bit of a strengthening to the squad. As we move on out to a bit of training here with some of the youngsters and Pugh again, we can see here, unfortunately, that James Chester has suffered a broken rib and will be out for a considerable amount of time. Brighton have now made an offer for John McGinn that we've rejected. And a bit more training for the youngsters before we move out to the first match of the episode. And we are going to face off against Huddersfield at home at Villa Park. So as we can see, we've got a couple of player debuts here. Obviously we've fitted Septemberss into our lineup and Huddersfield have their own debutants. Here's our lineup for this match. We're still sticking with the five at the back at the moment. El Mohammadi, Oxford, Zagadou, House and Henry. With Maitland-Niles, Burge and McGinn in midfield. Grealish in the position just off of the striker with Kodja up front. Okay, so straight away Huddersfield are into the action with 13 minutes gone. It was a bit of a lacklustre opening part or phase of the game, but Huddersfield here with a header from the corner, and he's managed to guide it past the keeper and the defenders that were on the line. Poor bit of defending really. We've just got beaten to the ball in the box. Straight out to the second half here. Shot from Rico Henry, but it's collected quite easily by the keeper. McGinn there knocking the ball out to Rico Henry, who's going to push it on down the line. Knocks it inside to Kodja, who holds it up. Knocks it off to Septemberss, who knocks it out to the wing where El Mohammadi's headed it on to Grealish. Grealish knocks it inside to McGinn. Yes, nice finish by John McGinn there. Nice bit of build-up play, switching the wings from one side to the other to open up the defence there from Huddersfield. As we see, Grealish just stops the ball there on the edge of the box and knocks it across to McGinn, who was waiting to slot it home left-footed into the corner. Huddersfield putting us under a bit more pressure here, got it out onto the wing, knocking it into the box. We've got the header in, but it's not completely clear, and Grealish is out there trying to put the striker off. They're knocking the ball around nicely again, and it's just drifted wide there. That was a decent opportunity for Huddersfield. As the game finishes 1-1, not too bad a game to start the episode, but again, one of those kind of ones where it swayed in different directions throughout. McGinn was the man of the match there with a 9. Gets 8 points overall from our ratings in that match as we move out to a bit of training. Okay, so we move out to the second game of this episode. We're away from home and we're facing off against Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium.
Please make some noise as we welcome to the pitch our visitors, Aston Villa, and your gunners, Arsenal.
Okay, so let's take a look at our lineup. We have Horn in goal, El Mohammadi playing right back, Oxford and Zagadou centre backs, and Henry out left. Obviously playing 4 at the back, with Burge and McGinn playing in the central defensive midfield role. Grealish and Smith Rowe out on the wings, with Kodja and Weah playing up front together. As you can see, we've moved on quite considerably into the action here. We're 36 minutes in because there just wasn't a great deal for us to get our teeth into. It's quite a lacklustre game, not much action at all. But as you can see there, Aubameyang did get an effort on target. The keeper had to make a save, and we've got a defender corner here which looks like it's going short, but they've actually knocked it into the box. So we managed to clear that off the line there just about. Still under pressure though from Arsenal, just ahead of the whistle for half time. So we move into the second half. Again, not a great deal to consider going on in the first part of the second half, but as we can see, Arsenal there with a decent strike that Horns had to push around the post. Torreira there with the effort. Moving on out here, Grealish has got the ball, who's knocked it into Timothy Weah. He's going to push it on down the channel here, and can he get a good cross in? Gets it to Codger, but Codger's blown it over the bar. Unfortunate there, but a decent result, 0-0 against Arsenal away from home. El Mohammadi got man of the match and was also the top player of this game with 6 points. That means that this episode's top players are now John McGinn with 11, El Mohammadi with 8, Henry with 7 and Grealish with 5. And we're going to move straight on into the third game of this episode, and once again we're playing Arsenal. This time in the Carabao Cup, and this time we're at home at Villa Park. Okay, so let's have a look at our lineup for this game. We've obviously had to have a bit of a change around based on our performance against Arsenal in the first match, and also obviously the stamina and fitness of the players. Because it's a cup game, I'm also giving a few other people some opportunities. So we've got Wagman left back, House and Pardew in centre backs. We're also going to play a 4-3-3 formation, so we're playing a lot of the ex-Arsenal players here with Smith Rowe and Nelson and Maitland-Niles in the squad to take on their former teammates. Right here on the left-hand side, knocking the ball around quite nicely on the edge of the box. We've got it into McGinn. McGinn just couldn't thread the ball through to Septemberss. It's very unlucky. Threading the ball through again, McGinn. It's just blocked. Just blocked by Arsenal. There's Arsenal now on the attack. Oh, they've hit the post. And the keeper's managed to save that one as well. Two very, very good efforts there. Near the end of the first half here, and we've just lost out to Arsenal as they're applying quite a bit of pressure on us. Knocking the ball around nicely, and it's an amazing effort from long distance there from Mkhitaryan. What a fantastic strike. It's one of those type of strikes where he's just found his way onto the ball quite nicely and managed to slot it home. Absolutely barnstorming shot. Look at the curl he's got on it as well as he's come across the ball. Second half, Nelson here on the ball, knocks it inside to McGinn. McGinn knocks it out back to Nelson. He's going to cut back and throws it into the box. Weah with the header. Nearly scores for us there. And it's Arsenal once more. Berge trying to get the interception in. But Arsenal are starting to knock the ball around nicely, and they've managed to get another. It's going to be a long road back from here. And it's Mkhitaryan again. Knocking the ball around on the edge of the box there, and he's just really shifted the ball around really nicely and put the defender off. Smith Rowe there has an opportunity with a header that drifts wide. So we're out of the Carabao Cup, unfortunately, and frankly, against the opposition like Arsenal, we really had to do a lot to draw with them in the previous game, so it was always going to be quite a challenge in this one. Nelson got the top player of the game alongside Berge in midfield, and then that obviously doesn't change too much in terms of this episode's top players, aside from the fact that Berge has now entered the fray. So McGinn's got 12 and Berge with 9. As we move out to the last game of this episode, we're facing off against Manchester City at Villa Park. This is a game that could have bags of goals in it, to be honest. I'm not anticipating the best of games, if I'm totally honest. Man City should really run us over. But anyway, we're playing 4-3-3 again. Dicko's in the centre position, Grealish out wide along with Nelson, as we try to at least counter some of their opportunities with some goals of our own. Poor challenge there by De Rossi, who Man City have clearly signed in this career mode. Gets himself a yellow card. And Sane here has managed to get clear down the wing. He's knocked it into the box, and Gabriel Jesus with the header managed to get in front of the defender. As we can see from the replay, it's a great cross from Leroy Sané, and Jesus has just got in ahead of the centre back there. There's nothing really I can do about that kind of goal. It's a great goal from Man City. Keeper nearly gets his fingers onto it. Reece Oxford knocks the ball onto Shaparenko, and Shaparenko's got the ball out wide to James Bree. He cuts back, knocks it into the box left-footed, and the defender's just got there ahead of Reiss Nelson. Keeper there knocking the ball upfield. It wasn't a great clearance at all, and Man City have managed to be able to get hold of the ball, and they've hit the post, but Sterling's there to pick up the pieces. 2-0 down. 33 minutes in. This is going to be a long old game, I feel, right now. It was a poor clearance, to be honest, from the goalkeeper. He didn't knock it far enough away and invited pressure onto us. As Adré Dozl there knocks it out to Reiss Nelson, he cuts back, throws it into the box. Shaparenko. He was drifting away and he never really got above the ball. Here with the ball out wide right, cuts back inside and he's lobbed it into the box, and Dicko's got on the end of it. What a great goal from Noah Dicko. Great set-up play by Reiss Nelson. That's a really good team effort there to get that goal. As we can see here, Reiss Nelson cutting back inside and clipping the ball inside to Noah Dicko, who's managed to get between both defenders. Had he missed that, perhaps the defender might have got in the way, but Jack Grealish was also there, but in behind. Keeper perhaps should have done a little better as well. Man City here with a shot on target, but it's hit the frame of the goal and it's been disallowed. The rebound picked up by Sterling, but he was offside. As De Rossi is taken off and replaced by De Bruyne. Not a bad player to be able to bring on. Fernandinho here with the ball, trying to move Zagadou around. He's managed to do so and pushes it inside. Sterling's got onto the ball and he's popped it in. 3-1 now to Man City. 76 minutes to go. 76 minutes gone. And yeah, I can't see a way back from here. It's a good finish there by Sterling. Goal kick there taken by our goalkeeper. Knocks it onwards to Pugh.
There will be a minimum of 2 minutes of added time.
He knocks it down the line to Rico Henry. Chases that ball in. Cuts back inside onto his right foot and puts it in the box. And Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish there with a fantastic header. Bit too late for us to be able to do anything else about it, but glad to get the consolation goal, to be honest, against Man City. It's a great header by Jack Grealish. Good leap, getting above the defender and nods it home. So yeah, it rounded out 3-2 in the end. Not a bad result against a team like Man City, especially as we're obviously struggling to maintain our position and outside of the relegation zone. Rico Henry there with man of the match, got 7 points in total. Grealish with 5, Dicko with 4, and Nelson and Bree both on 3. So that has really changed the overall players of the episode. Henry taking 14 points and moving ahead of John McGinn with 12. Grealish had 9 and both El Mohammadi and Burge with 8. So that means that Rico Henry has got the player of this episode. You can see here that we're just changing the training options to select what we're going to use with Henry. However, what we're going to find here is that we can't actually do any more than 4 training slots with the defender, so we're going to just pick our goalkeeper for the last one. hopefully that improved Rico Henry a little bit. If you enjoyed that episode, please hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel for future FIFA 2019 content.